Hello again. In this video, we're going to talk about bones. And well, bones. That is those are all the elements of the skeletal system. Just be careful with the way that you refer to the system because osseous is an adjective, but you can have osseous tissue, but you wouldn't say osseous system. The word that we use in English is skeletal system. Okay, so some of the bones have an English common name and also they have the anatomical name. So in English, the word skull refers to the anatomical name cranium. The bone, as we saw before, is the mandible. The spine is the vertebral column. The breastbone, that's the sternum. The rib, or the ribs, those are the costas. Collarbone, that's the clavicle. Shoulder blade, the scapula. The thigh bone, the femur. The kneecap, it's the patella. And the shin bone is the tibia. Okay, so you already know the anatomical names, so you just have to memorize the English name and use these names for the quiz that you have to answer after you watch the video. Now, talking about the kinds of fractures that we have, there could be different kinds of fractures depending on how affected the bone is, and not only the bone, but also the tissue surrounding the bone. A green stick is just small fracture, you can see, not even broken. Then we have a displaced fracture, which is a broken bone, but it's inside the muscle or inside the part of the body still. Comminuted, that would be a broken and fractured bone. So it was fractured, it broke in different parts. Impacted is that it wasn't displaced. It stayed in the same place, but it broke. Okay? And an open fracture is, as you already know it, in Spanish we use a very transparent translation. It's when the bone broke not only itself, but it also broke the muscle surrounding the bone. It is also called a compound fracture. There could also be two different causes of the fractures. One could be a pathological fracture, and the other one could be a fatigue or stress fracture. The pathological fracture, I think that you're going to understand pretty easily, is when there was an accident, and that's why the bone got broken. And the fatigue or stress fracture, it is due to repeated minor trauma. Okay, so for example, long distance running, long distance marching. Okay. Now, how are the fractures treated? Well, very simple. The purpose of treating a fracture is to unite, so to create a union between in the broken bone. Also, they would reduce the movement, so the bone and the muscle heals. So those are the things that they need to do when treating the fractures. Now, how can you fix a bone? How can you make it not movable? Well, by fixation. By fixation by any of the means, like a splint, a cast, or a plaster cast. And we have the pictures here. So a splint, we saw it before when we were talking about the orthopedists. A splint is just an external device which is movable. You can put it and take it off without having to break the splint. A cast, that is a stronger material, but at the same time you have to break it once you want to remove it. A pin, as you can see here, is a metal or a piece of metal that goes inside the bone. And the other way in which you can fix a bone is a plate and screws, which is a plate is a stiff piece of metal, and the screws are the little piece of metal that doctors use to fix the plate and the bone together. These two last devices are inserted in the body, and they won't be removed for a long time. Okay, so that's the end of this video. Well, please remember to answer the quiz. See you in the next video.